What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of FTB Inventions. Oh yeah, guys, so last time, we started working on our power system. We finally got that up to snuff. Yeah, that was pretty cool. We got that all set up over there using the reactant dynamos. Yeah, we're using our monster essence that we're collecting from our blaze and the blaze rods turning into blaze powder. Yeah, that's producing 320 RF per tick per dynamo. We have 10 of them, so 3,200 RF per tick, which is pretty good. Pretty good. So last time I was also concerned about this building here. I didn't really like how squatty it was, so I decided, I'd take the time and I actually raised the roof up. Yeah, so it matches the same height as over here. But then I started messing around with the carpenter's blocks, and we had the original design like this, and I started placing carpenter's blocks on the corners and stuff, just trying to see what this looks like. And yeah, that looks pretty good, guys. I like the way that looks. Obviously, we're not going to be sticking with the stone, but we're going to have to pick some kind of a block to replace the stone that's a non-connected texture. So this is all going to look like a solid thing. So I got to figure out what the block type is that we're going to be using. But yeah, that's the same exact pattern as we have over here. Yeah, same thing, except in all the corners, I've just placed a carpenter's wedge slope. Yeah, and it turned out like this, which looks pretty cool, I think. And this is what it looks like from the front. Yeah, it looks like we have areas for big windows or something. Although I'm not sure if we're going to put windows in or not. But yeah, I thought that looked pretty cool. I've done that to all the sides of this particular building. So that's what we're looking like. I wasn't sure. We had the roof sloping down like this. And it looks kind of weird without this additional slope right there. So I wasn't sure what we were going to do. It kind of would be cool if there was like a slope that did one of those actions kind of a thing, but there isn't one. So there's no way to fill in that little spot. So the roof kind of comes down like this on the inside and then goes at a 90-degree angle, or I guess at a horizontal angle right there. Oh, well, it's fine. Nothing to complain about. But overall, I think the aesthetics is looking pretty cool. It definitely is a big change from the way this looks, right? I think so. I think that looks really awesome. Cool. So things that I want to work on today. Actually, we might end up trying these over here, and I might just put in these anyway, even though they won't be connected textures. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, things that I wanted to work on today. We needed to upgrade our power supply. Right now, we can only import and export 8,000 RF per tick, and we're limited to the amount that 4 of these energy cells can store. Yeah. People have told me in the past that I should be using the Ender IO capacitor banks, I think is what they're called. There's like 3 different levels of them. I've tried them out a long time ago. I think I was using them in Infinity for a little while, and I stopped using them because I was told that they're laggy. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to try those out. Since it's a single player, if there is a problem, it's only going to affect me, and then we can resolve it later. But yeah, there was some reason why I wasn't using those before, and I think it was mentioned that they were laggy, and that might be fixed. I don't know, but let's take a look at this. So we wanted to do, what are they called? Capacitor banks. I can't spell. We'll just do CAPAC. CAPAC. All right, so we have the basic ones. We have the capacitor banks, and then we have the vibrant capacitor banks. Each one of these hold 25 million RF, which is pretty cool. But they do require these octatic capacitors and the vibrant crystals. The vibrant crystals are an emerald with vibrant alloy, and the vibrant alloy comes from these, which is, what is it? Ender Pearl plus an energetic alloy. Yeah. And they have exchange energy, but you can't learn them and you can't make them. So we do have to set up the crafting recipe for this. So yeah, we can do it through the alloy smelter or the induction smelter. Either way, it's the same recipe, it looks like. Yeah, I guess we have an alloy furnace, which I assume this is Tech Reborn. Yeah, it's got the little lightning bolt thing for the power here. Never used this thing before, I don't think. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and have to set up something to make this vibrant alloy because we're going to be needing a lot of it. So it looks like auto crafting for... Whoops, didn't mean to go down here. It looks like auto crafting for Ender IO is things that we're going to be working on next. I can't remember... Did we ever hook up our auto crafting units? No, these are all disconnected. So I'm going to have to reconnect these now that our power is more manageable. I'm going to have these all reconnected. We'll make some patterns for the Ender IO stuff. Yeah, let me get some things together, guys. Try and get some auto crafting done, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, well I'm in the process of getting a lot of these auto crafting recipes set up. I've actually added in a pulverizer over here, so now we can do some pulverizing. So one of the recipes that I added was sand turns into silicon. Yeah, we're just doing stacks at a time just to make it, you know, so we have a little bit of a buffer going on when we need this stuff. And I have another one here that we can turn 64 coal into 64 pulverized coal. So I was looking at the recipes. I wanted to auto craft refined iron. And one of the ways you can do that is through the induction smelter. Yeah, it looks like if you take an iron ingot plus 2 coal powder, coal dust, or pulverized coal from thermal expansion, you can get a refined iron ingot. I'm pretty sure we've done this recipe before. That's what I got in my inventory here. Iron ingot, pulverized coal from thermal foundation. Yeah, so we put the iron in here. We put the pulverized coal in here. Click it, put it in there. It's not going in there. I don't know why it's not going in there. I was sitting here scratching my head over this for a little while. There's an induction smelter. This is pulverized coal from the same mod, but it's not going in there. I'm pretty sure we've done this before. In fact, I think I had a chest sitting on top of this thing. Yeah, I think we had a chest sitting on top of here before I rearranged this cabling. So let's just see if we can dump it in this way through through this cable. I'm pretty sure it should work. We want this to be insert. So yeah, we're going from the chest into here, and make sure this is set to activate without signal, and we're doing insert. Wait, no, we're doing extract. I'm sorry. Active without signal, so we put that in there, and it's not going in. So why is that not going in? I don't know. The configuration for this, let me change this to insert. All right, well, from the top, we are inserting. Maybe if I switch this to a different color. Isn't there a way you can do that? Purple? Yeah, so purple would go here. This pulverized coal just does not want to go in there, and I don't know what the deal is. I think pulverized charcoal also works, but you need more of it. We don't have any pulverized charcoal, apparently. Yeah, so I don't know what the deal is. So I'm going to have to figure out a different recipe to auto-craft refined iron, I suppose. Let's see. We can do the iron. Yeah, we have the pulverized charcoal or coal dust, coal powder, or whatever, pulverized charcoal. Do we have any other coal in here? Really? We have coal from Industrial Craft 2. Does this work in here maybe? That one goes in, so why does the recipe from its own mod not work? I don't know. These are the things you gotta deal with, guys. Is there like maybe a configuration option where that recipe was disabled but it still shows in NEI? Maybe, I honestly don't know. Or maybe Industrial Craft didn't properly register the recipe. I mean, it looks right here, right? Anyway, I'm gonna mess around with this for a little bit. I'm gonna continue on with my auto crafting endeavors, and we'll be back, guys. Alright guys, well I just told the system to make up 9 of the vibrant capacitor banks. So yeah, it looks like all the auto crafting seems to be working correctly. We're having to make some of this we're having to make some of the energetic alloys and some of the electrical steel and all of this stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that all of this stuff does complete successfully and make sure all the patterns are working. I still don't know what's up with the refined iron on the induction smelter. That's still something I'm gonna have to figure out. Yeah, it looks like we have some refined iron scheduled right here. So I'm going to have to probably do that all manually. But anyway, I'm going to let this finish up here. We'll have 9 capacitor banks, and we'll check out the Ender IO power storage system. Alright, well those 9 capacitor banks went ahead and they crafted up. I actually did have to stop it and change the recipe for the induction smelter. Yep. We went with the pulverized, no, not the pulverized coal. What do we do here? This one. We swapped that out for the coal dust, the IC2. That's what we did, the refined iron ingot. Yeah, so we're using coal dust. Now, we don't really have a good way to make it. Obviously, we can send coal over to our macerator, and it can make this stuff. However, this thing goes exceptionally slow. So we're going to have to look at getting the overclocker upgrades for this thing at some point in the future before we can rely on it. Once we do have plenty of those overclockers in there, though, this thing will go really, really fast, and it'll be way better than a lot of the different machines that we have over here from like thermal expansion or Ender IO. Okay, so now we got these things done, the next step is to get them hooked up over here. So I think we're going to end up doing is like a 3x3. Let's go ahead and remove some of these things. We can replace those later once we figure out where they're going to be. Now, once we remove this guy, that's going to shut down our AE system. Yeah, it doesn't have a large power storage, so that's where all that power is coming from. So that's our input. And I think we should be good. Let's go ahead and just take this apart. We'll just go ahead and break all of these things. Like so. Okay, I think we should be good. All right, so we'll do these guys right like this. Now, if I right click on here, does it show the maximum? Well, it says max in and max out, 25,000. Maximum input output. Does it show like the total storage of this thing? I guess on the tooltip here, 225 million RF. Does it really say we have 1.3 million in here? How did that happen? I don't know how we even got RF in there. Maybe when I touch it to the cable down below, it dumps some of the power back in here. I don't know. Anyway, let's get this thing. This is going to be our power input, which I think is this one. Frequency, no, 999. This is the one we want. So 999, that's our input. That will go right there. Is that sending power in? It looks like it is. Now, I know there's ways that you can right click on these. Maybe shift right click. There's the in. Yeah, something like that. I thought there was a way where you could see like how much you're getting in or out at the same time. And then we also have another option here where it can show like the percentage bar. That might be kind of cool if we do it like along the sides, maybe. Something like that. That'd be kind of cool. And then we can also just make this whole thing how much power is going into the system. Cool. So we're also going to want to set a tesseract here. Actually, first thing we should do on the very bottom of this, we should set this connection to be output. All right, so now it's sending some power out. Yeah, I guess this will switch to input or output depending on if we're receiving power, more power than what we're using. So we always want this to be on the in, I suppose. Okay, so we're also going to want this tesseract probably, oh geez, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? We can stick it right here. And then we can just right click on here, go to configure, and we will set this to be the output. Something like that. All right, so now our AE system should have power again. I assumed it shut off, but now we're making sure. So yeah, our input right here, this is our entire main power storage. We're sending out power through this tesseract. I might space this one over on this side. And then down below, we are receiving the power to the rest of the conduits through that connection. Cool. All right, so that was pretty simple. Another thing we should look at doing is dumping the power from our energy cells back into this thing. So I'll just go ahead and leave these things out like so and set the output to the back. This should be dumping out, maybe. I might have to set the sides to accept power. Whoop. Active without signal. Yeah, we might have to set this thing right like this to be input. Like that, yeah. And this number will go out, these cells will drain. I'll go ahead and get this thing all set up so it drains all these cells into it, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, well, I got all the energy cells dumped into our capacitor bank now. Yeah, you can see on the side that we are more than half full now, which is pretty awesome. I like that visual indicator. So it's kind of like at a glance, how much power we have. Oh, we got that much. Cool. Yeah, you can see that we're gaining 2,868 RF per tick. Yeah, and we are over 132 million RF stored in our capacitor bank. So we have a while to go if our power gets shut off or we, it stops processing for whatever reason. But yeah, we got 2,868 RF per tick that we can use for machine processing, or we can use for whatever else, more applied energistic stuff, whatever needs to draw power. So yeah, that's really cool that we can visually see our net gain. I like it. All right, so things that I wanted to work on going forward. Yeah, our macerator really needs to be improved. We need to make the overclocker upgrades. We were talking about that before, so we should look at doing that. So in order to do that, we're gonna need to make ourselves a canning machine. Not a canning, a canning machine. There's two different ones. There's a fluid, a solid canning machine, and then there's a solid canning machine. We want the fluid one because this we can enrich water with lapis, I believe, or it's a macerated lapis. It's been a while. Anyway, and then we can make the coolant, which will make the coolant cells, which will go into the overclocker upgrade. Yeah, we're gonna need to make these 10K coolant cells, which requires the coolant cell, which is IC2 coolant. which does not show you how to do it in NEI, unfortunately. But yeah, I believe it is macerated lapis. I think it's 12 of them plus a bucket of water equals 1 coolant cell, if I remember correctly. Okay, so first things first, we need to make this fluid solid canning machine. This is going to be the perfect time to start getting our IC2 auto crafting up to snuff. So we need 10 item casing, which we can do if we have our system make forge hammers. We could do that, but it's probably going to be better just to use a metal former. So we have a setting here for rolling. Yeah, we're also going to want another setting for cutting. So that means we need to make another metal former. So let's go ahead and let's do this. We'll make another metal former. We'll set these up. So one's on rolling, one's on cutting mode. And then I believe those are the only 2 modes we need. From there, we should be able to set up all the auto crafting patterns that we're going to need. Yeah, because each one of these over here, yeah, the metal former, they have the 3 modes, the extruding, the rolling, and the cutting. Or maybe it's extruding, not the cutting. So we'll have one on extruding, we'll have one on rolling. Cutting, I don't believe is ever used. I had set up all 3 of those in Infinity Evolved Expert mode, and I realized, yeah, after a little while, yeah, cutting is not necessary. So anyway, we'll set up another one side by side, so I'll probably move things over here. We'll get another one of these ME interfaces on the back. Yeah, and we'll get these patterns going. Anyway, let me go ahead and get some of that stuff done, guys, and we'll be back. Cool, so I added in a second metal former over here. Yeah, and when you connect an interface to one of these machines, for instance, this interface right here, it'll say ME interface on there. And when you look through your interface terminal, all you will see over there is whatever that type of machine is. So like extractor or induction smelter or compressor, electric furnace, etc., etc. You can see right here, if I scroll down actually, our metal former says metal former extruding, metal former rolling. Now, what I ended up doing is renaming the interfaces. Yeah, you can rename them on an anvil, which I did. Or you can get the, whatever that tool is. I can't think of the name of it. It's the cutting tool, I think. What are these? Quartz cutting tool? Do we have one? No, let's make one real quick. We should be able to make one of those. All right, so you can do a quartz cutting tool, and I believe any type of metal. Iron should work for our case here. So all you need to do is shift right click. Yeah, shift right click, put iron here. Then you can do something like test, and that will give you an inscriber name press named test, and you can put this in your inscriber down here if you wanted to. Replace this with this, and then you can rename something like, for instance, this particular ME interface will be renamed to test. And it's just the same thing as like renaming that on an anvil, but I chose to do the anvil method just because it's faster. I didn't have to come over here and do all this stuff. Where's my, okay. So for instance, this test one, if I were to stick this, oh, I don't know, like right here, for instance, this would normally say macerator, but if I come over here and look at this, we would see not a macerator. There's nothing under MA. It'd be named test. So yeah, you can rename these things so you know. Anyway, so I ended up renaming these 2 right here, the ME interface. So it says metal former extruding, and this one's on the extruding one, and this one says metal former rolling, and that one's on the rolling one, just so we know where the patterns go without guessing and without having to come over here and manually selecting where they go. Okay, so we got that all set up, so that's pretty cool. So now I can make myself some patterns. Yeah, we're gonna want like copper, for instance, is going to be turned into the copper wires. That's a pretty important one. There's a few of these that you just do all the time that are really, really important. So we'll do that pattern. That one's gonna go in the extruding mode. I can find that one, extruding. So cool, so now I can say, make me some copper wires. And since we don't have any overclocker upgrades in there, it's gonna take it a minute to go through, but it only takes like 10 seconds. It's not super long, but if you're gonna be making up like a bunch of the electronic circuits, you really don't wanna have to wait that amount of time for that to happen. It still hasn't gone through, has it? Still crafting. I guess we could go over here and make sure things are happening. This one. Rolling. Extruding. Ah, right. Okay, so it did happen, but it never sent it back to the system. I made up these ejector upgrades. These are kind of cool. You can put these in any of the IC2 machines, and it will eject the output to whatever side you have it selected to. So this one right here, by default, is automatically output to the first valid side. That's not what we want. We want it to output to the back side. So the way you do that is you shift and then you right click on the back of the block, and then that sets it to the west, for instance. So if we hit F3, we face this way, it says west right here. So yeah, that is the correct side. So now we can just stick this guy right like this. Boop, it's gone. Now it's back in the system. And now our system should no longer say that it is crafting those 3, and we should have them in here. Yeah, now we're up to 19. We were at 16, and the crafting status is fulfilled. Awesome. So I need to do that to the other one too. Then we'll have to set up these things to make like iron plates and pretty much all the different things. The iron casings, the tin casings, bronze casings. There's so many different casings and plates and wires and yeah, all of these things. So I'm going to get to it. I'm going to make a few more patterns here and we'll be back. So I got the fluid solid canning machine set up right here. And then on top of it, we have a tesseract that's receiving fluid that's sending water over here. Yeah, we have water on a channel now. So if we come over here, just right over here, I set up 3 aqueous accumulators. I set them up over here because they're kind of loud, right? Yeah, well, the volume might be a little low for you guys, but it's loud. It's not something I want to hear in the background all the time, no matter where I am in the base. So the way this is set up, we just have 3 of these aqueous accumulators. These are the resonant versions. So they hold 32 buckets per. We have it set to the output set to the top on all 3 of those. Yeah, we're just using some pressurized fluid conduits. In fact, I think we should probably set these so they're active without signal. So I think that forces the liquid. Is that how that works? Extract, active without signal. I think that's what we want. So I believe the aqueous accumulators do push a little bit, but if we have it extracting, it'll go a little bit faster in case we need more water. I don't know if we're ever going to need that much or not, but anyway, they are dumping into this reinforced portable tank water. Yep. And then that is dumping into a tesseract down below set on the water channel. That's number 3. Yeah, this is just set to fluid mode send only. So that's the way we have this set up. Now, we could just set it so the aqueous accumulators dump directly into the tesseract, but if we need a lot of water at once, I want this buffer here. So we got 128 buckets, and then each one of these also has the 32 buckets. So we got quite a lot of buffer water if we need a lot for some reason in a short amount of time. So that's the reason why I went with that method. I think that's going to work pretty well. Cool. So the next step is we needed to get some lapis dust in here. And like I said, I think it was 12. In fact, it might be 24 per operation. Yeah, so I was getting ready to set the macerator up to do this. Yeah, I put the interface on here and I put the ejector upgrade and I started macerating and oh my goodness, it takes so long. And then I realized after I did one, they have exchange value. So yes, we don't have to go through the tedium. This stuff is expensive. It's 864 per. We don't have to go through the tedium though of getting our first 24 done to make one thing. In fact, we'd have to do that, what, 3 times to make the overclocker upgrade because we need 3 of these? Yeah, we don't have to go through that tedium. So this is way, way better. Another thing we do need to do though, whoops, drop down on the ground. We need to grab ourselves some empty cells. Now you can do that by getting a tin plate extruded, I believe is what it was. I didn't make any of these up, but I did make the pattern, so we should be able to make a bunch of these. You make 3 at a time. I'm just going to make up a whole lot of those just so we have extras. We're going to want a lot of those upgrades in the future. So yeah, we put those plates over here and we are extruding, right? Yeah, extruding. All right, cool. So let me grab some of those empty cells and we can try and get one of these things going right away. Grab 3 of those. Whoop. Grab those. Okay. Grab the wrong thing to, yeah, grab the soul vials. Okay, so we should be able to put the empty cells in here. No, we have to set this. It's set to canning mode. You have to click this button. So you want to do fluid enrich. So we'll take the stuff that we're going to put. We'll put the lapis right here. The cells will go right here. Lapis goes right here. And we'll combine the water plus the lapis and enrich that. And then it'll go into the cell. The way that works. But yeah, we don't have any overclocker upgrades, so this process is slow. So probably the first overclocker upgrades are going to go into our fluid solid canning machine to make a bunch of these coolant cells. Yeah, we're going to want to make a lot of those. How much did that use? That was, I guess, 10. Or is it 8? Maybe it's 8. Okay, so that's how many it uses. So yeah, we're going to make a bunch of these so we can make our overclocker upgrades. We'll upgrade our fluid solid canning machine. Then we'll make a whole lot of these coolant cells. Yeah, and we won't have to worry about this process for quite some time. Each one of these, or I guess 2 of those, requires 3 of these 10Ks, which is that coolant cell plus 4 10 plates. So we're well on our way to getting stuff going quite fast here. Just watching the crafting screen go by, as quick as it is right now, is just very satisfying. So I spent some time here and I made a bunch of these overclocker upgrades already. I'm making a bunch more now so we can start stacking them in all the machines and getting a decent amount going on over here. So right now, the fluid solid canning machine, we have 10 of them. And then over here in our metal formers, we have 9 in this one and 9 in this one. And you can see it's going at a decent rate now. Without these overclocker upgrades, it goes significantly slower. And we can bump this up even faster. I think we can make it go twice the speed as what it's going right now. It's just going to be using a lot of power. We can see right now we're actually doing stuff over here. It's not just sitting on the in or zeroed out. Yeah, we're using some, and the dynamos over there are compensating by dumping more power and slowing back down. Anyway, they're load balancing each other. So the overclocker upgrades, here we go. Here's 24 more of those things, so that's pretty awesome. I think we're going to go and dump them into, well, the macerator would be good. Electric furnace is also pretty good as well. The electric furnace, we're using right now. I need to set up the pattern for this, but for instance, like rubber, turning that into the rubber bars was something I was just doing a moment ago. Look at that. In one operation, I did like 53. Boom. See how good that is? I think 24 is probably overkill. We could probably bump that down to 18. Yeah, look at that. That is so good. It just does that processing so fast. IC2 is great. Also, in conjunction with this RF to EU converter, yeah, it has a 36,000 RF buffer. It might be something that we're going to have to set up, oh, I don't know, like a bank of not the CESUs, but the MFEs or MFSUs or whatever the highest power storage is that dumps a lot of power at once. Yeah, if we have a bunch of those set up there, these machines should be able to draw a whole lot of power at once and not, run out like it was doing. So these are things that we'll be working on sometime in the future. Oh, we got a little bit more. Let's just do those. Done. Yeah, so that's so good. IC2 processing machines are really fast once you get them overclocked. I really like them a lot. But yeah, guys, I think we're going to go and wrap the episode up here for today. We got a lot of good stuff going on. Let me know your thoughts about the building over here, what that looks like to you. I don't know, maybe it just looks good to me and everybody else doesn't really like it. I think it looks pretty good though, compared to this anyway. I will have to try out some of these factory blocks on the corners over here to try and match that up. I think that might look kind of cool, although they won't be connected textures. But yeah, guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on this episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.